Imagine coming home after a 12-hour hospital shift, exhausted, starving, takeout in hand, only to find your driveway hijacked by a stranger's SUV. What would you do? Some people would sigh and give in. But not her. This nurse delivered a lesson her entitled neighbor would never forget. A $300 dose of justice. If you've ever wished you could serve cold, delicious karma to someone who disrespected you, hit that like button right now, subscribe, and settle in, because this is one of the most satisfying revenge stories you'll ever hear. She lived in a modest cul-de-sac. Nothing flashy, just ordinary houses, trimmed lawns, and a rhythm of neighbors who mostly kept to themselves. For her, it was home. A safe, quiet place where she could retreat after grueling nursing shifts. Her driveway, simple as it was, mattered. 2 spaces. One for her, one for her husband. It wasn't just concrete, it was order, reliability, a piece of sanity in her chaotic life. But then came Jack. Jack. The kind of neighbor who smiled with his mouth but never his eyes. The kind who treated boundaries as suggestions. To him, her driveway wasn't hers. It was extra parking. The first time, she brushed it off. His brother's car sat in her driveway, and Jack shrugged it away with, "Just a sec." She believed him. Mistakes happen, right? But a week later, it happened again. A friend of his this time, dropping something off. Her pulse ticked up, but she let it slide. She didn't want drama. Nurses see enough conflict on the job. Home was supposed to be different. Still, it gnawed at her. The weeks blurred together, but Jack's disrespect grew sharper. She'd come home, bone-tired, shoulders aching from 12 hours on her feet, and there it was. A strange car in her driveway. One evening, her arms were cutting into grocery bags, 5 of them biting at her skin. She had to park halfway down the street because Jack's buddy's truck blocked her spot. She stumbled up the road in the dark, whispering under her breath, "This isn't fair. This isn't your space." And every time she confronted Jack, his reaction was the same, a casual half-smile, as though her frustration amused him. "Oh yeah, sorry. They'll be gone soon." It was mockery. She could feel it, like she was being dismissed in her own home. Then came that Friday night. The hospital shift had drained her 12 relentless hours. Her scrubs clung to her with the faint smell of antiseptic. In the passenger seat, her takeout was already cooling, the smell teasing her empty stomach. She turned onto her street, and her heart sank. There it was. A massive white SUV sprawled across her driveway. Dead center. Not angled, not trying to squeeze to the side. A full blockade. She pulled up, headlights cutting across the vehicle, hoping it was just a trick of perspective. But no, it was parked deliberately, arrogantly. Her chest tightened. She tried knocking on Jack's door. No answer. She called his phone. When he finally picked up, his voice was casual, almost lazy. "Oh yeah, that's my in-laws. They'll only be there a couple hours. Just park on the street. It's not a big deal." That was it. The last straw. Something snapped. Her exhaustion burned away, replaced by a clarity she hadn't felt before. Her voice in her head was calm. "No, not this time. You don't get to dismiss me again." She pulled out her phone, not to argue further, but to call a tow truck. And she knew the law. In her area, blocking a private driveway wasn't a gray zone. It was black and white. She was within her rights. The tow company arrived within 20 minutes, their lights flashing faintly in the quiet cul-de-sac. Metal clanked, chains tightened, and with almost surgical precision, the SUV was lifted, pulled away into the night. By the time she sat down with her fries, the driveway was clear. An hour later, bam, bam, bam. The pounding shook her front door. She opened it to find Jack's face crimson, veins bulging. Behind him, his in-laws shouted, their words a jumble of rage. "Why would you do that?" he barked, spit flying. "You didn't have to take it that far." Her pulse slowed, strangely calm now. She met his eyes and said, steady and firm, "You told me it wasn't a big deal, so I treated it like it wasn't a big deal." And with that, she closed the door. Jack's in-laws had to pay nearly $300 to get their SUV back. To them, it was a stinging fine. To her, it was justice, not just the money, but the principle. And after that night, her driveway was hers again. No more excuses. No more, just a sec. Crystal clear, like an unspoken treaty written in dollar signs. For the first time in weeks, she felt the sweet relief of respect restored. Sometimes it takes a single bold action to remind people where the lines are drawn. Respect isn't asked for, it's enforced. And in this case, justice cost exactly $300. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell us in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or pulled off yourself? And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more stories of sweet, sweet justice.